It's funny how some of the most familiar things in our lives have the wildest secret histories. And boy, does the tarot deck have a story to tell. We think we know it, but its journey from what it was to what it is today, it's just incredible. Okay, so picture this. On one side, you've got the 18th century tarot. It was basically a card game for aristocrats, and honestly, its popularity was totally fading. Then you fast forward to today, and you have the tarot we all recognize, this deep, mystical tool used all over the world for divination and figuring ourselves out. So, how? I mean, really, how does that become this? How does a dying parlor game completely reinvent itself into a global spiritual phenomenon? Something big must have happened in between, right? Well, our story really kicks off when the rich and famous started getting bored with their tarot game. And as these used fancy decks began trickling down from their mansions, they found their way into the hands of everyday people. And here's the key. These folks had absolutely no clue how to play the actual game. So what do you do when you have these cards with amazing pictures but no rulebook? You make up your own rules. People looked at these super dramatic cards, like death or the lovers, and just started inventing their own meanings. And this new practice, this cardomancy or card reading, really took off thanks to traveling Romani fortune tellers. They helped thread it all across Europe, giving the cards this vibe of mysterious, ancient wisdom. So you've got this kind of grassroots thing happening, but it's about to collide with a full-on revolution coming from the top down. A huge, pivotal moment is coming, all thanks to one really influential guy who was about to make up a branding history for tarot, a history that was, well, completely fake. Let's set the scene. It's 1781. A French Freemason, this guy Antoine Court de Gibelin, publishes a book with let's just say, a wild theory. And you have to understand, this guy wasn't just anybody. He was high society, part of the ruling class. So when he talked, people listened. He had this massive platform, and everyone was primed to believe what he said. And what was his grand claim? Oh, just that the tarot wasn't a game at all. No. He said it was a sacred book of ancient Egyptian wisdom, passed down directly from the priests of the god Thoth himself. I mean, you can imagine a story like that? It totally captured the imagination of the elite. And he came with proof. To back this all up, he argued that the pictures on the cards were derived from Egyptian hieroglyphics, that they were used for magic in ancient ceremonies, and that even the name tarot held some secret Egyptian meaning. It was a fantastic story, right? It explained everything. It was perfect. Except for...
Yeah, there was just one problem.
None of it was true. I mean, to be blunt, it was complete and utter pseudoscience. Think about it. When he was writing this, nobody in Europe could even read hieroglyphics. The Rosetta Stone wouldn't be found for another 20 years. His entire theory was basically just based on vibe. But you know what they say, right? A good story is often more powerful than the truth. And this Egyptian myth was a great story. It was so popular, it didn't even matter that it was fake. And when something gets that popular, well, this fake history was about to become a very real system. Enter a guy named Jean-Baptiste Aliette, who went by the cool pseudonym Attila. And this guy, he saw a huge opportunity. He took de Gibelin's myth and turned it into a practical, marketable system. He published the first ever book on tarot divination, designed the first deck specifically for fortune telling, and gave each card a specific meaning. This right here, was the birth of modern tarot reading. So now you've got this compelling backstory and a practical how-to guide. The tarot just exploded, especially within the secretive world of 19th century occultism. You know these groups studying hidden mystical knowledge? They saw the cards as the perfect vessel for all their complex ideas. And suddenly, everyone wanted in. You had the Freemasons, students of Jewish Kabbalah, and these really influential groups like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Later on, the infamous occultist Aleister Crowley would create his own powerful version, the Thoth deck, which just cemented tarot's place in these esoteric traditions for good. Okay, so at this point, tarot is a big deal, but mostly in these secret occult circles. To go truly mainstream, to get it out of the secret societies and into everyone's hands, it needed one last push, one final innovation. And that moment arrived in the year 1910. This was the year the Rider-Waite-Smith deck was published, and its genius wasn't just in Pamela Colman Smith's gorgeous artwork. The game changer was that it came with a companion book, a pictorial key to the tarot. It was essentially an instruction manual, and it standardized the meanings, empowering anyone who could read to become a fortune teller. Which brings us all the way back to today. It's such a wild journey, isn't it? And what's really fascinating is that tarot has this surprising double life. It's not just about the magic and mysticism. The DNA of that original card game, it's still with us too. Think about it, that old trick-taking game mechanic, it's the direct ancestor of games like Bridge and Hearts. The archetypes influenced games like Magic the Gathering. At the same time, its mystical side is a cornerstone of the New Age movement, a go-to symbol for mystery in movies and TV, and a modern tool for personal reflection. And here's the real kicker. That original tradition never actually died. While much of the world sees tarot as this deeply occult object, if you go to places like France and Italy, they're still playing it simply as a card game, just as they were centuries ago. So, what does this incredible journey tell us? From a dying game to a fake history to a global spiritual tool, it really leaves us with a fascinating question. Is an object's meaning determined by where it came from, or by the power of the stories we choose to believe?